season debut episode of Local Focus. We're back for another season. Somehow we have not been canceled. I find it really hard to believe. I know we're in to the 300s episodes coming up. Exciting high school season ahead of us. Checked out the schedule on ProViewNetworks.com. Before we dip fully into high school season and football, I did want to kind of, we'll talk some high school for sure, but very special guest today. Second appearance on the show. He was named a few weeks ago the Mountain West Conference Scholar of the Year, former La Cueva Bear. Akili Carris, welcome back, man.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
Sounds like a really big deal. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so every year the conference, they call it their most prestigious academic award that they can give. Obviously there's scholar athlete and there's regular athlete,
right.
We had two distance runners win male and female athlete of the year, which was really cool. So UNM got 3 of the 4. And they were trying to get it out just because of the new conference alignment. And Boise State, a track athlete from Boise State, she won the female Mountain West Scholar Athlete of the Year. So they had to get that out before before the conference kind of split. But no, they call it their most prestigious award that they can give for academics. And our admin at UNM was like, hey, each school nominates a male and female, and they send it to the conference, and then people at the conference vote for it. I think it's athletic directors and some of the Mountain West people as well. And I was like, I'll just send it in. I didn't know if I had a chance or not, because part of it is the athletics side as well. It's academics and athletics, which my career was pretty good, but there's the guy last year who won it he was at UNLV. I think his name's Jackson Woodward, who's with the Texans right now. And so his athletic career was a little bit different than mine.
That guy never went to class. Who are we kidding? Come on, if he's with the Texans now, that guy never went to class.
Yeah.
That's a really big deal though, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, we were talking a little bit before we came on, I think, and we'll dive into the athletic side because don't short sell yourself there. You had a really nice time at UNM there, but now as you start to look at, your professional career in whatever capacity that looks like, when you get to put Mountain West Conference Scholar of the Year on a resume, that's going to look really good to any Fortune 500 company when they're looking to hire.
Right, and it's just something to add on there and something to talk about on a resume or an interview. The resume kind of gets you to the interview, and at the interview you got to sell yourself, and that'll be a good talking point for me because I hate talking about myself. And
you've always been a little modest.
I'm much better at talking about other people than myself, so that's kind of a good way for somebody to ask a question about it, and it's a good way for me to talk.
So what was your degree in, and what were you looking to do next?
So I got my degree in 3 years in operations management at the Anderson School of Business, or School of Management, sorry. But
they're very particular about that.
They are.
I heard. Yeah.
And so this past year, I was like, well, I still have another year of baseball. I was going to do my master's anyway, so I just started my MBA, did my first year, so I have one more year of that, and then out into the real working world at that point.
Yeah. So, for those watching that maybe okay, what's the big deal, right? There's a good chance whatever company that gets lucky enough to snag you, right? You might surpass a couple of those entry-level jobs and probably, like in my job with kind of manager band, supervisor band, director band, senior director band, national senior director, global director, right? So you might skip a couple of those steps just because of such a prestigious award, right?
Right, it can't hurt, right?
Yeah.
There's certain things that look much better on resumes and things like that, and others that don't. My internship with the Sandia National Laboratories has also been awesome. It's been a great thing for me to start my career there possibly, or use it to go somewhere else. But just things that you can add to your resume that helps set you apart. At a certain point, our AI is going to see, okay, this person's got this and this and this and this, and you're either based on your resume and that sheet of paper getting an interview or not.
Right. No, that's a great point.
Some certain things that can help differentiate you between others is pretty big.
Right. Tell me about when you found out about this honor.
Yeah, so I actually found out about it.
I heard you were on the golf course. With your dad.
I was on the golf course.
Okay, so tell us about that.
I was playing with my family.
Right.
I forgot where, and our SID, our media relations guy, he calls me and he's like, hey, you won this award. I'm on vacation, but you won this award. They want to set up an interview or whatever. And he goes, just let me know when you can. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I was like, what award are they talking about? And then I realized that I had sent in my application or whatever for the Mountain West Scholar Athlete. And then I realized, oh wait, that's the award. That's pretty cool.
Super cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I found out, based on a phone call.
I bet Dad was pumped.
Yeah. My dad had to give him the tissues. He was crying.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I can imagine.
Yeah, he was on the verge.
I figure he's either really emotional or he flagged the cart girl down immediately to start celebrating. One of those two, right?
One of those two, yeah.
You don't have to tell us which one.
Yeah. No, that's funny. And then my mom was just like, hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, my mom and dad are different on the sentimental side of it. Both obviously very proud and happy and thought it was super cool. Just different ways of expressing that.
Yeah. How hard is it to be, I mean, you know, we talked about it when you were here the first time in high school. It was hard to balance in high school. How much harder, or maybe it was easier for you, who knows? I'd love your perspective on that. What was that like in college, right? Playing Division I college baseball, and you turn up being the conference Scholar Athlete of the Year. How was balancing that life in college?
Yeah, I think high school prepared me a lot for college, and the pillars that my mom and dad instilled in me and my sister instilled in me, of school's first. And I've always thought that school was first. And so my freshman year at UNM, when I'm sitting the bench like every freshman does, and you realize you're playing with grown men at this point. Like, I showed up, our average age in the outfield was like 23 and a half, and I'm just freshly turned 18. Like, I can't compete with that. Going in, I thought I could, and then you quickly realize you're not at the physical level that these guys are. And so, you know, people start talking to you, hey, maybe you want to go JUCO, maybe you want to go somewhere else. Like, you might not play next year if you come back and all that. And for me, it was not that there's anything wrong with doing that. I think follow your dreams, guys who want to do that, for sure, especially with how the new 5-year rule is now. Right. But for me, school was always more important, so I stayed. And staying allowed me my sophomore year to compete for a spot. And, you know, I was third on the depth chart, even though I had a good fall and a very good spring right before the season. And I was still third on the depth chart and had a couple injuries in the infield that year, and it ended up allowing me to step into the role to play, and I just never gave it up after that. But without school being a priority, I might have left, might not have been here. You know, there were just things that kept me here beyond baseball, which I thought was cool. Yeah,
we'll take our first break here, but when we get back, I do want to talk about, I mean, it was not for sure, right? UNM wasn't for sure. I mean, there were other options, so we'll talk about kind of the road to UNM when we come back with Akili.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm Ben Lucero, president and owner of Indigo Mortgage. We are a locally owned and operated mortgage company right here in New Mexico. This means your loan officers and processors are right here to serve you. Indigo Mortgage offers better rates and terms than that of big banks and out-of-state lenders. Our mortgage divisions include residential, commercial, construction, reverse mortgages, and VA mortgage loans. Let us serve you with an exemplary level of care. Indigo Mortgage, because nobody cares more about your mortgage loan.
Jimmy John's toasted sandwiches take the fresh baked bread you love and turn up the heat to toasted perfection. Crispy and golden on the outside, melty and gooey on the inside. Order a toasted sandwich at Jimmy John's today.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Next in line. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We're back with the Mountain West Conference Scholar Athlete of the Year, Akili Carris. That just has a good ring to it. Right? Just long enough to sound super important, not hard enough where you don't remember it, right? Like that just it suits you. It fits you well.
Right.
But like we were talking a little bit before we went to break, UNM was not a slam dunk, right? Like you were, if I remember correctly, you were flirting with Air Force, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how did you even wind up at UNM?
Yeah, so obviously I was talking to UNM and Air Force. Those were kind of my two big Division I offers. I had talked to Levitt Christian a little bit, and then a couple JUCOs in the area. But yeah, it was pretty much either UNM or Air Force, and I just was researching more into Air Force. Like I thought it would be cool. It sounded really cool, and I respect the hell out of the guys, the men and women who go to that school and become cadets and then officers in the Air Force. And so I kind of did more research on it and all that, and people were saying if you're considering one of the service academies, not just Air Force, but if you're considering a service academy for sports and that's the only reason you're considering it, then it might not be the place for you, just because of the other aspects of life at those institutions. And so for me, that kind of made my decision easier. You know, I remember, I think it was in September, we had some club tournament. We were playing out at the complex on the west side, and the bus for New Mexico Junior College showed up because it was a tournament where they were just playing games. And they showed up with two buses. Each was packed with like 40 guys. And I saw that and I was like, whoa, I don't know if I have it in me to try to weed out that process. And I was like, if UNM wants me now, maybe I should just take it right there. So I think the day after I saw that, I called. At the time it was John Coyne, who's now at Kansas, was the recruiting guy, who I had had most of the communication with, and I was like, yeah, I'm in, I'm coming. And so that was really exciting, and then, yeah, the rest kind of just fell into place.
And you talked about, right, your freshman year, you know, it was not, I mean, it's difficult, right? So the growing, you talked about the size, right? But talk about what else makes it such a hard adjustment?
Just from a baseball standpoint, the speed of the game was so different. I struggled mightily defensively.
Which is crazy to think about, right? Because you're like the premier player at your position, right? Both offensively and defensively. So to think that you struggled defensively, right?
Mm-hmm. And it was so fast. Everything was so fast.
I guess the ball's coming off the bat a lot quicker, right?
Yeah.
There's no...
And I played it when I was in high school. It was all wood bat here.
Right.
It wasn't metal. So you take that jump to college where everyone's bigger, stronger, faster. Ball's being pitched harder, and it's being hit with a metal bat at you. And so I kind of was just like, whoa, type of thing. And then kind of finally settled in my sophomore year after you get used to it. But another big thing was just trying to balance how long you're there for. Like, our La Cueva practices were long, but practice started at this time and was this time. There was no mandatory optional early work. There was no optional lifts. And then you're just there for 6 hours a day and have to find time to do homework and other things as well.
Yeah, I mean, talk about all that extra time, right? I mean, because especially when you are buried on the depth chart, right? Like, you're just looking for anything to get you an at bat, right?
Right.
Whether that's some extra work in the cage or whether that's extra work on the field. I mean, so talk about that a little bit, just the extra work that had to go in.
Yeah, well, it's hard. You come from high school where everybody's the best player at their position or their school, and they all show up to a school, and everyone expects to play. You're so used to playing, you don't want to sit. And when you're sitting, you have to continue being a good teammate, and that gets hard. Especially, season starts in February. By May hits and you've watched 40 games on the bench, it gets hard at that point. And the coaches understand that, and everybody around it understands. But it's really tough. And so you're doing anything you can to stay positive.
So how do you prevent that doubt from creeping in at that point? Mm-hmm. And, how do you stay a good teammate? How do you stay engaged? And how do you prevent doubt from entering your mind?
Yeah, I think as hard as it is, you have to stay patient. Stay patient as much as possible. Know that you're putting in the work. You're just 4 or 5 years younger than some of these guys, and it's natural. Like, the freaks who are ready to play at that level are probably already drafted. Like LaQueva's got a kid now, right, Dylan Blomker. He's a freak, right? And yeah, he's worked his butt off and he's gotten really good. So guys like him are ready to be at the next level already. Where if you were kind of like I was, you still had a lot of development to go before you were ready to play at the next level. And
then you mix in that UNM is traditionally a very good offensive club,
mm-hmm.
right? So it's not like, if you're batting 300, 350, you're not cracking in the UNM lineup.
Right.
Traditionally, UNM's a team that hits incredibly well, right? Mm-hmm. So you really got to do something to get in that lineup.
Yeah, I mean, my junior year we led the country in batting average. I think it was 339 or something, number one in batting average and number one in, I think it was doubles per game, something like that. And so you realize that, you're like, I got to hit. They always said, if you hit, they'll find a place for you in the lineup. But
it's funny because in high school it's the opposite, right? If you don't kick the ball around,
yeah,
they'll find a place for you in the lineup.
Right, especially
right?
on some of the dirt fields here,
right,
in Albuquerque.
But in college, it's the opposite. You got to hit, right?
You got to hit. If you're not hitting, you're not in there. You could be the best defender out there, and if you're not hitting, you got no chance.
Yeah. So how hard was it to stay locked in? Because I do remember your first couple of years there when playing time was more sporadic, but you did always take advantage of your opportunities, mm-hmm. whether it was a pinch hit spot or a spot start or whatever. It seemed like when you were in the lineup, you were hitting. Tell me about that and just how hard it was to stay ready. But you definitely made the most of your limited plate appearances early in your career.
Yeah, my sophomore year was tough because, like I said, I came in, I had a really good fall, a really good spring before the season, and I thought that I deserved a chance to play early. And they kind of told me that it was going to be the same as my freshman year. So I was like, so I'm going to burn a year on 10 at-bats again. There's no point in that. So I was originally going to redshirt. And you talk about trying to stay locked in at that point when you're not playing. I was still on the active roster in case injuries happened. And me and Coach Brown kind of made that deal together. And then all of a sudden we had a couple guys go down. And I think it was a Sunday game against, I forgot. I think maybe one of the schools up east. And our starting third baseman hit a stand-up triple to right and popped his hamstring going around first. And at that point, I was like, oh. Now, of course, my work and all that was still the same as if I was playing, so I think that's a big key is prepare and approach every day like you're going to be the starter and playing. And that helps you be ready for when the time comes and you're not pouting or sitting, I should be doing this, blah, blah, blah. Coaches are dumb. If you stay ready and prepare every day, then when your opportunity comes, you're in a much better position than if you're wanting people to feel sorry for you.
And then you have another kind of progression because now you're going from not playing to you're playing a lot, and that's a whole different thing too because now the recovery piece comes real, the fatigue becomes real, the playing every day becomes real. Mm-hmm. So now you have to adjust to that. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's incredibly different than high school. High school, you play 2 games a week, maybe 3 if you played a Wednesday game, and you always felt great. And then come to college and you're playing Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and all 9-inning games too. Right. It's not 7 innings.
And there's no such thing as a short Mountain West game. I've come to find out.
I mean, we had some games that were 25, 23. We had football scores in some of the games that we played. This past year, I think we had a 4.5-hour game, close to 5 hours. It's just like, oh my gosh. And you got to show up the next day and play. And you're playing 9 innings again. But that's the kind of the fun part is knowing that you're in the lineup every day versus every day, like sophomore year, I was kind of up in the air. Was I playing today? If I played well today, I was playing well I was playing the next day, that kind of thing. But I got off to such a hot start my sophomore year. We had a catcher, Jake Holland, who was the Mountain West co-player of the year that year. I think it was 2024. Yeah, 2024. And probably the best baseball player I've ever played with. 6'5" catcher. He was huge, could hit everywhere. And he told me, he goes, enjoy your first 100 to 200 college at-bats, because that's when you're getting fastballs. There's no scouting on you. They don't know. There's no heat maps or tendencies on that. And then he goes, so enjoy that. So I took advantage of that at the beginning of my sophomore year when I started playing. And, I kind of experienced this year at the start of the year, or this past year.
Was he right?
Yeah, he was right. I started getting a lot more spin, a lot more.
First pitch breaking ball?
Yeah, they weren't letting me swing at my first pitch fastballs very much. And I started this year kind of slow just because of that. And they were attacking me differently, and I was in a different spot in the order. And so they were attacking me differently, and it was hard to adjust, and you kind of pick it up after a while.
And you were batting in the meat of the order, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your senior year. I mean, and I saw a lot of the highlights, and something that you do incredibly well throughout your career. You always stay within yourself, right? So, I'm watching all these highlights, and it's like, it's Akili just doing what he does. Gap to gap, right?
Yep,
Gap to gap, line drives, gap to gap.
Yeah.
And that's always been your hitting approach, but it continued through your time at UNM. Just talk about that.
Yeah, our hitting coach, Justin Mitchell, he was there my sophomore, junior, senior year. We sat down and talked about it. He was like, listen, you're not, and I kind of knew this about myself. I mean, UNM's field is so huge. Like, I understand that we play at altitude, but that field's huge in comparison to some of the fields that we play at. And so he was like, understand that yourself, you're not going to be the big guy hitting 15 homers a year or whatever. And he's also said, we don't need you to be. And so that kind of helped me stay with who I was.
Because that would be pretty easy, right, at UNM? Altitude plus teammates that are leaving the yard, right? Mm-hmm. It would be a little easy to get a little uppercut in that swing, right?
Yeah. Well, in my junior year, I hit between two first-team Mountain West guys. They each hit 18 homers, or like 18 and 17, and I hit in right between them. And in my exit meeting, Coach Brown, junior year, he was like, do you know why I had you hitting there? And I was like, not really. And he goes, it's about, there's not a lot of swing and miss in your bat. The guy before me, the guy after me, yeah, they had the power, but they also had the strikeout, swing and miss, which you can have if you're if you're slugging. And so for me, just because I never really slugged, I didn't have that luxury to be able to strike out a ton, which I didn't, just because my bat to ball skills were pretty good. But yeah, they really told me, just be you. We don't need you to be somebody that you're not. Like, you're in the lineup because you're gap to gap, because you don't strike out, because you're a good action type of guy, team offense, that kind of thing. Moving a guy over or scoring a guy hitting a sac fly.
The things that have always made you a great baseball player,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. And so just not trying to do too much with that, and just kind of understanding, hey, this is who I am. This is how I'm going to be. It's kind of at this point too late to change what I'm doing. And so, Coach Mitchell really, really sat me down and was like, hey, just be yourself. That's who we need you to be. We don't need you to be Jake Holland, for example.
Right. So I know you're in a weird place now where you can reflect on a mm-hmm. baseball career, right?
Yeah.
So do that. I mean, what stands out?
Yeah, no, it flies by. So I still play with the Greek national team, and so that will scratch my baseball itch every mm-hmm. year, every other year, whenever it happens. But I was thinking I need a place to hit because we're going to play in a U23 tournament in August. So I was like, I need a place to hit. And so I thought of America's Pastime. It's down off Alameda. Yeah. And I spent so many hours there as a kid, from ages like 9 to high school. Like that's where I went.
I'm sure Coach Pineda would give you access to the cage.
Yeah.
If you asked him.
Yeah, I'm sure I could call up Garrigan. He'll be like, yeah, come over.
Yeah.
But like thinking about that, and you think about the friends that I've made, there's some of my best friends are guys that I met when I was 10 years old, and you just play together in high school and college and all that, and you're like, wow. Met a lot of great people over the years, and it was fun. Like, baseball was fun, and that's why I kept playing, because it was fun. If it stopped being fun, I would have stopped, and I think that's a good thing for people to understand, especially at a young age. Like, it's fun, play, it's fun. There's no pressure. Nobody's getting drafted at 10 years old, 11, 12. Just enjoy it. Play other sports. I played basketball growing up until my junior year of high school, and that was great because I got a nice break from baseball during the winter. I would have rather played hockey, but we don't live in a cold weather state. But yeah, just enjoy it, have fun. It was so much fun for me and so many memories, and I've gotten to go so many places. Like, I've gotten to play in the Czech Republic, in Italy, all over the U.S. just because of a game. And so enjoying that aspect of it too, and reflecting.
So that networking piece, we'll finish up on where we started, right? We talked about the Mountain West Scholar of the Year award as you prepare to enter that part of your adult life. The networking piece, though, from college athletics, that's got to be huge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it is. And I've thought about trying to get into the athletic administration side of it just because I love sports. And so sports has been my life forever, and it's probably what interests me the most. And so, I've met our athletic director now, Ryan Berryman, our old one, Fernando Lobo, who's at Colorado now. I have a great relationship with some of our other senior associate athletic directors, Chris Baca, Amy Began, and Dante Mileta. Those are my big ones. Oh, and Jalen Dominguez at UNM as well. And so getting to meet those people, and without college athletics, I would have never gotten into meeting those people and all that. And I remember Fern told me at one point, because I went in and met with him, he said, see what UNM can do for you. And so looking back on it, UNM's done a lot for me, getting to meet people and, this award now and getting to play and meet those kind of people. And it's just a huge network of people and relationships that I have.
Yeah, I mean, because that's, yes, college athletics, especially the quote-unquote revenue sports, right? Mm-hmm. Those, the college is making a lot of money off basketball and football, et cetera, right? But college athletics, the networking piece, the what you get out of it, for the adult part of your life, it's huge. You automatically, being a Division I athlete and the network you make there, it can really catapult you the rest of the way. So you have to take advantage of those. And then you added a prestigious award like the one you received, right? You've gotten everything you wanted out of your college experience, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't do anything differently. I thought maybe my freshman year I'd redshirt or pose that, but even at this point, my career was so good and everything went right, and there were no serious injuries, nothing like that. I never missed a game because of an injury or a nook or whatever. And so I wouldn't trade anything that I've done that career-wise at all. I'd do it all again.
I bet you didn't think you'd have a return appearance on Local Focus at the very end. Did you think it would come all the way back around?
I did not, but it feels like yesterday I was sitting in this chair.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for
having me. We're out of time. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night.